Hey there, and welcome back to Tempting Fate Tours. As the last episode ended, Tom's Traveler had just arrived at the campsite late at night on the back of a flatbed. By then, the car had traveled 7,860 miles to get from Los Angeles to New Hampshire to Holland on a ship and several trailers and flatbeds. It had covered exactly 48 miles under its own power, and we needed to fix that. After the long journey in the pelting rain the previous day, we didn't get started till about 9:30 in the morning. The event's first activity wasn't until 2:30 p.m., so we had two main tasks, one major, one minor. Sorry. The maroon lowlight, we had noticed, had a clicking left rear brake from our journey the day before. After downloading a 1940s workshop manual image on his phone, it took a while, but Tom finally figured out that one of the two shoes was fitted backwards. Yes, they're handed. Once it was reassembled and taken for a test drive, it worked fine, no more clicking, good, red car is sorted. As for the gray Traveler and its rear axle, we had bought gear oil, but beyond that, no idea. Happily, the camp folks let us use their metal tractor shed, which had a concrete floor, skylights to light up the interior, but kept us out of the direct sun. Tom quickly pulled both axle shafts.
This felt like it was broken maybe because it didn't slide out.
Which were fine.
No?
Which was unfortunate, because that meant the problem was in the differential.
What would cause that though? Like a seized bearing?
As I said, like potentially,
Or a piece got
if a piece got loose and jammed the teeth.
With the help of club member and master wrench Chris Ryder, the differential came out in many, many, many pieces. Those included the cracked bearing race, the sheared-off gear teeth, the no longer round ball bearings, and several other pieces of scrap metal we couldn't identify. It was, Chris said with some admiration, the most spectacularly grenaded differential he'd ever seen. Luckily, Chris had brought a spare diff.
We're going to race Hector in his 3 Civics tomorrow morning and leave this back on the
already has.
So, with Chris advising, Tom swapped it in.
Family.
Perhaps viewing us as cheerful but obviously clueless Americans,
20 seconds and not a single bad word.
Son of a...
Chris seemed quietly rather pleased that Tom did much of the work on his car himself. Chris had had to replace a differential on the previous Miners on Tour trip, and he had to do it at the side of a French road. This was much nicer. Tom took the Traveler for its test drive after it was reassembled. Everything worked, no more bad noises. We started at 11:30, we had wrapped by about 4:30, and while we missed the wine tasting, which was very well attended, as John noted when he walked past it to get something or other, it was time for drinks anyhow. The big challenge for the coming week would be to figure out the ratios and how badly they affected the car. The original diff was a staggeringly high 530 to 1. The new one was only 422 to 1. With the odd gear spacing in those first 3 years of Travelers, we wondered if the car would be even slower and weirder to drive in traffic. Now, we'd be able to use both cars for the week's activities. We just both had the nagging thought, okay, what's gonna break next?